Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be reviewing the brand new Asher Knives Lil Buddy. But before we get into this review, I want to take a look at these new utility knife offerings coming from CJRB. This is the Breeze, and this is a Kickstarter campaign that seems to already be funded, and it's still got a good ways to go. There's several different options. I'm going to leave all necessary links in the description for this Kickstarter campaign. This one right here is the all titanium. The super early bird on these are $49, and once those are gone, the early bird is $61. I don't know what the next regular entry is, but it'll all be in that Kickstarter campaign. Nice and lightweight. It has two different drive slots right here to tighten up a nut or something. It's an M6 and an M8. It's got a small little ruler. You got a little straight edge on this side because of that ruler. It also has a lock, kind of like on the O-Knife utility knife. And all you do is push this down, slide it forward. It's got a stop right there, or you can go all the way and there's a stop right there. It's comfortable because it's rounded. And once you want to pull it back in, you push this down and it stops in that spot and then stops in there. If you want to make sure it's not going to come out in your pocket, you just turn this, as you can see there, you turn it this way and now it's locked. It won't allow it to go that way. They do have ambidextrous setup on these. They just mentioned that, so I don't know if this is how it is or not, but pretty cool. The only thing I don't like about it is it takes those specialized blades where you have to have the hole in there because that's where this thing's going through. So not ideal for somebody like myself that has like tons of regular blades without those holes in them. So, you know, I don't know. I like the tool. I think it's neat. It's the titanium one's very lightweight at 1.72 ounces, and it's going to go in my EDC pouch. That's what I usually use these for. And then they have this one, which is all steel, bringing the weight to 2.68 ounces. You can definitely feel the extra heft. It is a little bit smoother in the deployment, I'm guessing because of this coating. This one is like a blasted stonewash finish. It'll get smoother and smoother as I open it. But the tie comes with these blades. They're a little bit nicer blades. I forgot what, one of them's like a carbon steel blade. One of them's a stainless blade, I think. And then this one just a regular, I guess a cheaper blade. Like I said, very smooth on these stainless steel ones because of that coating. And like I said, these are almost an ounce heavier. You get all the same implements. They also, let me close this up. Sorry about my dog. They also have a bottle opener right here. Haven't got to test that out yet, but I'm sure it does work. But if this interests you, I will have links, like I said, in the description. They also have one that's half aluminum, half tie, half steel, half aluminum. Like I said, there's several different variations. If you're interested in this, go check that out. Now we're going to go over the Asher Knives Lil Buddy. And after I reviewed the first fixed blade from Asher Knives, the Fixie, I was pretty excited to check out more. This was the next design that they released, and I bought it immediately. Comes with a nice taco style sheath, just one piece fold over, lashing points, and it comes with a pocket clip. Carries pretty nicely in the pocket, especially since this one's not super big. Nice push off point right there. Nice positive retention, no rattle. For me, this is a perfect size for EDC at 7.1 inches in overall length with a 3.2 inch drop point blade of CPM S90V steel, which in my opinion is a perfect steel choice for an EDC fixed blade. Has good corrosion resistance and excellent edge retention due to the high vanadium content in it. And I found a nice coarse edge. For me, I like a 600 grit edge on my S90V. I find that those edges last a lot longer than, say, a high polished edge. And this one is more my speed because it has that low tip drop point, so I can still get that tip down on things if I want to. You got a nice point for piercing. It has some nice effective grippy jimping there. Beautiful raw stone wash finish. Excellent sharpening choil. That's going to give you tons of sharpening life before it starts to widen up back there. It is in S90V steel, just like the Fixie was. And that one performed really well. This one has a full flat grind with a stock thickness of around 0.125, and it's around 23 thousandths behind the edge. However, the edge bevel that came on mine is 16 degrees per side, so this thing should slice very well. Let's find out. The edge on my knife came really sharp out of box. Feels like it has a good bit of bite. Of course, we'll have to find that out later on in the testing, but I love this blade shape, and that somewhat thicker behind the edge grind isn't really it's not going to cause any issues on cardboard like this. Maybe some triple wall cardboard or something like that, but that thin edge bevel is going to help out a lot. Now we're going to test the ergos on this piece of birch. Start out with some light cuts, kind of see how the edge wants to bite into the wood. And I kind of try different grips just to see how it feels and start to increase pressure more and more. Using different parts of that blade just to see if all of it's nice and sharp. It's definitely catching into the wood very easily, and for the most part, I think it's really comfortable. No hot spots that I really noticed. I did notice that if the edges of the texture they have on there, I think after prolonged cutting like this, it might start bothering you. Now, I did a good bit of cutting here, so it would take a lot. It didn't really bother me at all, and I'm able to get a lot of force into this wood, as you can see, taking off some nice chunks right here. Definitely a cool little EDC fixed blade. You can do some whittling if you need to. Now, I can use that tip, but I do have to raise it up a lot higher than I wanted to. I would mind it being a little bit lower, but it's going to be excellent at cutting on a flat surface, no doubt. You got a right amount of belly for that, and just watch how fast it's going through all this material. Of course, it is sped up, but it's just blasting through it. None of this stuff is thick enough or dense enough to cause any issues with grabbing the side walls of that blade. So the extra thickness behind the edge isn't going to really play a part as long as that edge is nice and sharp, which it is. But man, it was performing really well. And now to the sisal rope. This is the nasty sisal rope that has glue every once in a while in it. And I even go through some of that during this cutting. I did order me 8 rolls of the regular sisal rope that I was using, because this stuff just is terrible. But it is pretty much push cutting, and being that it has that good belly up front, I'm able to just go straight down into what I'm cutting, and it's just blasting through it. We get through, I think, 102 cuts before I end up running out of the piece I cut, and there was no doubt about it. It definitely could have done more. And, I wouldn't expect anything less from S90V. Possibly with the factory edge you could, but, both of the Asher knives that I've gotten out of box were nice and sharp and had a good bit of grit to them. After we finish this, I'm going to do a little bit of batoning just to see if that edge can handle it. I would think it can. I thought it performed outstanding. Now let's take a look at the handle area. You have, on this particular one, is tan G10. You can also get it with black G10 with a black Kydex instead of the green. It's bolt-on construction, just in case you need to clean off underneath these scales, just in case it got wet underneath there or something. You have a lanyard hole, which I do like on my fixed blades. And the G10 has this rib texturing on it. It offers a good bit of extra grip. They are contoured scales, and for the most part, it was very comfortable in hand. I get a nice 4-finger grip on it, and I have a little bit left to spare. Only thing I did notice is where they did like a outline of where the texture was, and right there at the edge of that outline, It didn't bother me at all during any of my testing, but I think if you were doing, say, some wood shaving, wood carving for a prolonged period of time, that may start to be uncomfortable just because it's got, you know, a defined edge on it. I don't know. Like I said, it didn't bother me at all during any of my testing, so I'm not going to really call it a problem if it didn't bother me. You do have full tank construction, and this thing can handle, as you saw, it can handle some batoning. You know, S90V steel is an outstanding steel for an EDC fixed blade because it's got good corrosion resistance and it's got excellent edge holding ability. This one, after all the batoning and all the testing, I don't have any chips in the edge, and it still feels pretty nice and sharp. Let's see what it's like. Got one little small hang up. It might just be in the way I was cutting. The weight on this one with the sheath is 5.171 ounces. I felt it carried well. I carried it clipped to the pocket. Now for some quick size comparisons, we have the Vosteed Mink, which is about identical in overall length, and then we have the Essie Azula. Next we have the Asher Knives Fixie and the Concept Carve It S. And lastly we have the Ontario Rat 1 and 2. It's pretty similar to the Rat 2. Nitpicks and complaints, these are just nitpicks. Maybe I would like to see one with thinner blade stock and ground a little thinner because it is an EDC fixed blade. You know, this is not, it's not a hard use fixed blade in my opinion. But I guess if you wanted to, like doing the batoning, that's fine. But I think even with maybe 1/8 inch stock, or I'm not sure exactly what this was, 0.125, is that 1/8? Just a little bit thinner stock, or this stock ground a little bit thinner. I do love the fact that it's got a 16° per side edge bevel on mine, and I like the texture. I think maybe where this line is right there, maybe they could have softened that a little bit, but like I said, it wasn't really an issue because I didn't feel it whenever I was doing all my testing, but maybe over prolonged use, it might become an issue. But these go for $115. Do I think it's worth it? Absolutely. If you're looking for a smaller fixed blade to carry on a daily basis with excellent blade steel that holds up well, and I think a nice attractive fixed blade, then yeah, I can highly recommend it. It comes with a nice Kydex sheath, already has a clip attachment. Yeah, I really hope we see Asher do more EDC fixed blades because there's just not a whole lot of companies doing them. I get it, and not everybody likes the smaller fixed blades, but this one is a perfect size. You still got a nice usable blade there, and I still get a nice grip on it. So this is probably my favorite size. I do like them to be a little bit thinner, but like I said, that edge bevel makes up for it. So there you go. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave those down below. I hope everybody's having an absolute amazing day. I will see y'all on the next one. Peace out.